So go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boys, PD and Kyle. Say what's up, gents.
What up?
Ready to rock.
Today we're going to be doing a review of Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. And of course, the starring role is by Michael B. Jordan. He is playing he's playing John Clark, John Kelly's original name. And basically he is the dark side of our friend Jack Ryan in the Ryanverse, Tom Clancy's book, where Ryan is the analytical type. He's the analyst who eventually becomes president. Here, this is the guy who, when something needs to be done, they send him out. So here's a new iteration of the character. He's been in several movies. Different actors have played him. And now Michael B. Jordan has stepped into the role, just like he's done in Creed, steps into a role that's already existed and just fills it in. So here I'm going to go with my boys, Cal and Petey. Anyone you guys want to do a quick rundown from what you've seen?
I like the way you had to stall when you said "my boys." You didn't know our names yet again. So, that's reassuring. I don't know how many shows we've done, and still don't got it. Okay, yeah, that's good to know.
Well, I mean, this movie is about this mission that goes unexpected, takes a strange turn for the lead character, John Kelly. They're on this mission and they wind up getting a person that they don't expect to get. And John Kelly is very questionable about one of the officers he's serving with. He's real questionable about it. But we get to meet the team. They're pretty cool and they do what they have to do. Everything goes well. They're just upset about how things went. And then they go home. They go back to their ordinary lives. John Kelly's got his wife and his newborn about to be born. And then someone starts knocking off the team. And of course, with luck would have it, he is in the basement while someone's in his house. And it's unlike the rest of the team, they go a little further. Well, then I guess by mistake, they looked at it, they saw that the covers in the bedroom looked like there were two people in there. So the assassins kill the people in the bed, but it's been found there's only one, the pregnant woman, and the covers kind of slumped over it, so it looks like two.
That's also people.
Huh?
The baby is also a person.
The baby is not taking up the other side of the bed. It's how the pillows are set up, right? So it kind of looks like it's two people. The baby isn't another pillow, another section of the bed. So ultimately, this is another key point that happens here. While this is happening, one of the assassins is killed by the other assassin. Of course, John Kelly goes to action. We've seen this before in many movies, but at the same time, we have a really cool scene where he takes out most of the team, but he gets hit on the final attack, and him and the assassin are left with our usual scene with guns run out, but they both are out of steam. So instead of trying to kill the guy, try to kill John Kelly, the assassin runs out. It's like, I just need to get out of here because I might not make it out, right? So he breaks out, knowing that he doesn't have to worry about this. Why would he not have to worry about this character? We find out soon enough, right? So with this happened, he's injured, has to go to the hospital. His first officer, one of his commanding officer, that's was it Jodie Turner-Smith. She's in there and she's like, she's hurt. She's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in there and she's kind of keep him from going a little to like, hey, this isn't really the time. But we'll get to meet. Well, who's Guy Pearce in this story? Mars. Who is he in this story?
He was the bad. What is he? He was like the. Was he a senator or something? He was like the evil politician.
We don't know that he's an evil politician yet. We know that we have the person that he worked with that was questionable.
And now you know.
And Guy Pearce's character, who is like trying to get John Kelly involved, right?
He's the Secretary of Defense.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
The ultimate boss.
So then he's allowing John Kelly to do his thing. And of course, John Kelly does his thing. And when he does it, it's all reckless abandon, like catching this Russian guy, that the name that he got. And he's like, he has them all hemmed up. It's really interesting how he plans it out, getting himself all messed up so he can like sort of figure out because he got a name from his commanding officer. He follows up on that name And his drastic action to take this person out is catch him at the airport, light his car on fire, and then give me a name, give me. So it's a
That
lot.
was a cool scene.
There's a lot of action in there, and of course, this leads him to go right to jail. Rarely do we see the hero go right to jail in the hornet's nest or the bee's nest with all the Russian mobsters in jail. And we get another thing where he's like plan how he's going to try to survive this time, but he got the word out to the Secretary of Defense, and they get him out again. And he's on a special mission to actually take out this person. They've got the name, they've had the name, take out this person, but that's when everything changes. So we got a couple of other cool scenes, a little pushing, the bounds of suspension of disbelief when they're on the plane. But it's cool that they get shot down and goes into the water, but they kind of stretched out. But I mean, every movie they kind of play with time. They don't care about. They know we're gonna just want this guy to survive this thing because he needs to get all this gear out. But it's like everyone in school, we all learn about the bends like very quickly. So just like that thing, when we saw the Titanic go down, when it breaks, that piece goes down.
Down.
So this is definitely, and I attribute that to Quentin Tarantino because he kind of pushed the boundaries of how long you could stay dead, and that sort of like really throw away time in movies, where time in movies was very specific and really trying not to cheat you on the time. Nowadays, he could have stayed down in the water for like a half hour and come out, and the audience would still be there. So, but it was a cool looking scene. So this leads them to get to the person they want, and they found out everything that they were thinking of was wrong. So, but yeah, it's a couple of twists. Obviously, one of them has just been spoiled, but they lead to think that one of his workers who now works for the CIA was the guy behind it, but he kind of owns up that he's not involved in it. He did not shoot it down. It wasn't his plan to escape it. And he goes with them on the mission. It's usually that point where we like, oh, he's going to turn on them. Nope. John Kelly turns on them, locking them out. I'm going after this guy. I'm going after this killer. It was a Victor. And he goes after Victor. And Victor says, hey, we're both, we're the same side of the same coin. And he's strapped up with a bomb. And that's when John Kelly realizes this. Then that's what I commend commend the movie for, is not to be your average revenge story where it's like he's on a revenge mission and he doesn't get it. The guy dies, like, so you can say but he sort of took his own hand to frame these American on this mission. So now they will have a reason for for this war to happen. So, and how old is this book, Mars?
This book goes back to the 1990s, I believe. I read the book, and I tell you, 1993. I loved the book. It was I read the whole Ryan series and definitely part of the John Kelly series. And I got to say that it's just this. If you read the book, this book is extremely changed from what you saw in the movie.
How has it changed, Mars?
So one of the things you have is that, of course, since the 1990s, you're talking about a character who, the war that he fought back then was in the Vietnam War. He was involved in that. He was special ops back then. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you have to make it to more current time. But it's actually two characters who end up dying. One, his wife dies accidentally, and then his girlfriend, who was a prostitute, drug addict, who gets killed. And he
got a girlfriend?
He had a girlfriend, and he goes out trying to get the drug dealers and others. But the key thing here, though, is that
girlfriend, like they were involved, and she's still a prostitute, or she was a friend of his and she was a girl.
He was cleaning her up and stuff like that.
Okay.
The key thing here is that I think one of the reasons the Rotten Tomato scores and some people have been taken aback is that they expect the character that they've read about or they've seen in some of the older Ryan films, and this is like a whole different take on it. One thing, the movie is very dark. I was trying to look at it on my own TV, and I was like, doggone it, I got to put this sucker on bright or something because it's very, very dark. Did I like the action scenes? Love the action scenes. I think Michael B. Jordan definitely lifts the material up, but I don't know if that material was, I don't want to say it's not the best, but I think why not use the book that Tom Clancy had and just update it? You know what I'm trying to say? But then again, what's happened in the intervening since 1993 to that's nearly 30 years that we've seen this in other movies. We see John Wick's wife gets killed. You see the amazing battles that happen there. The stories behind that. So I mean, I'm just throwing that one in, but there's been a whole bunch of other stuff that's happened in the intervening years, and I just take a look at this. And I'm like, wow, this is something that's just a little tad bit dated. But I mean, that's all the Tom Clancy books right now at this stage. You have to move them up. The war that everybody's going to be involved with is the Gulf War, the Iraq War, the Afghanistan conflict. So it's tough, man. I really, I mean, I've been dying to see this character for so long. I mean, I'm like, yeah, please, Michael B. Jordan, kill it. And I'm like,
Are you worried about the Rotten Tomato scores, or did you actually dislike it? That's what I mean. Ultimately,
I mean, I can't say I dislike it, but I can't say this is without remorse. This is not the book that I read. Okay, it's very different.
So tell me, what is, not just say because of the time period, what subject matter and what do you feel on just the core of it was missing?
I mean, one of the things here, one of the core things in this book is that you have the defense secretary trying to restart the whole Cold War, exactly. I mean, you have the one thing that you have in this situation is that you have that with John Kelly. I keep calling John Kelly, John Clark, is that he is the guy who's willing to do the things that Ryan doesn't do. Ryan's supposed to be the good guy, the analyst, the guy who figures things out. He's clean. This guy has blood on his hands. Okay, he sees the bad things that people are going to do, and he acts upon it and try it for the good of the nation. And we see he does that in other things, in other books, in other Clancy movies. If you saw the last, I don't know if they called him Clark, but in the last series, there was someone like him who ends up dying. But I think that what you have here is that, like I said, the other one, he's basically fighting a war in Baltimore, the drug dealers and stuff like that. He's going after them here, and which is good. I mean, which is fine in itself, and I kind of understand. But this one is more international. And it's not negative. It's just, like I've said before, you go to a restaurant and you say, bro, I'm gonna have a Philly cheesesteak. I want a Philly cheesesteak. Give me the Philly cheesesteak. If you're gonna give me something different, then don't call it a Philly cheesesteak. Call it something else. If it's gonna be a turkey cheesesteak, it's a turkey cheesesteak.
When we had this discussion, this is what happened. He said, I'll go to Philly. I want a cheesesteak. I said, do you like the fake steak? No. Do you like the fake cheese? No. So that's why you want something to the period, but at the same time, when they give it to you,
I don't recall that conversation. Really, that's not a conversation that we had on air.
Yeah, all right. But I would say the one thing I'll say my last bit. One thing, even though it is similar that he comes and kills the family and the kid, I think what I liked in that scene was they had the shot because he has a flashlight, right? And this is great, film, the way they filmed it was he gets shot, he loses the flashlight, they both go on the ground.
Oh yeah.
They let the light sort of reveal both of them, so you see the face. You don't really get to see what the other guy's face, but you see they're both in bad shape. And that's, I mean, not to say, okay, yeah, this is like, this is what, these are what things are. And John Wick isn't the first person, John Wick is like the last thing that we remember so drastically. So we're like, yeah, so now you can't, no, you can do that. But at the same time, yes, the audience wants something different. But I did like that they added some touches to it, which gave it some really cool look. Like when they say that the jump is gone, when he said the jump has failed, it's failed. It's like, nope, pull all this back. We're through. They're taking us down. No getting out of this. And then next thing you know, and that's why it was working so well. That's why I didn't want him to stay in the water that long, doing that stuff. I mean, he had a good angle to how to get it back up. I just was like, it's going to take too long to do this. But they know that they want the audience to squirm, and nowadays they make you squirm on things where it's like, we're out of time. The bomb should have exploded. So.
Yeah. I mean, you also notice that that Jodie Turner Smith, she has the same. She's lieutenant commander. She's in charge of the whole unit, which of course, a female SEAL. There's not that many of them. I think very, very, very few. But she's in charge, or she's the commander, and her name is Greer. And if you remember from the stories, Greer was James Earl Jones from the movies.
Yes, it's perfect casting. I mean, sorry, no, not perfect casting. Sorry, I just had to do that joke. Go on.
So it's interesting how they tie that in, that she's related to him and stuff like that.
Oh, it's a relation. I thought it was going for perfect casting.
No, I mean, like I said, I as a standalone, I have to separate it. Do I like the movie as it is? Yes. Is it the With Remorse that I remember reading and enjoying? Some of the stuff that we went through, or the character is different. And so, I mean, I still give it a thumbs up. Go watch it if you can. The cinema, that scene that you said with the light. I mean, I rewatched that again, and I was like, wow, that was so cool. I'm like, look at it go around, look at it go around. I'm like, and I was watching with someone else, and they're like, yo, that's cool. The way they're able to focus on.
Yeah.
That was a very unique use of the. But hey, one other point I want to say is like, when one of his teammates went outside to go throw out the garbage, and I was like, ah, man, there's gonna be a drive-by shooting. Nope, he was a drive over. I was like, do you remember that character? Yeah, I was like, whoa.
It's really how guys take out the garbage. You know, usually you don't want to get out in the middle of the street. So, and if a car's coming, you might think he's like totally oblivious of this.
You figure the car's gonna go away from him, but the dude just like, whoa. I was like, man. Oh, sorry, you know what? We totally forgot about Cal. Sorry, Cal, what's rocking, bro? Tell us what's your take on this.
I was having fun listening to you guys. Petey summarized the whole thing after he told me, "Hey, don't give away the, don't give away the secret ending."
You gave away the secret ending.
You gave away the secret ending. I was like, yeah, but we already you done summarized the whole thing.
You talking about the whole thing with the defense secretary?
No, I mean, I've never read the books, but I'm familiar with the characters between. I think the layman would probably be like me, because you probably watch Jack Ryan and think, is this Jack Reacher? Because it's almost like the same it's almost the same character to a large extent. But these books that were being written circa, they're about the same time, and the same thing. These military guys, and they're of course they're like these single solitary guys, the only people you can call in to take care of these particular missions. This works a little bit differently, as this is more like an origin story as how we actually get this guy. So, he he's military, and then of course they kill his wife who's pregnant. What was his wife pregnant, or was his baby actually in the bed with them?
No, it was, I believe, a car accident, an accident that happened. She ended up dying. So that's what I'm saying.
In the film?
No, in the film, no, she was pregnant. She was fully pregnant.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Because I was like, when they went into the room and they just saw the thing, I was like, okay, I guess that pillow was just really propped up pretty well. Because
yeah.
So they go over but it was pretty much an origin story for him, and then we get his raison d'etre, where he's going to come over and make certain that he takes care of all the dirty business because of what he's gone through. But I go through the whole thing. It's some really nice sequencing in terms of those action sequences that you guys already mentioned, with the light, the fight that he has inside of the fight that he has inside of the prison, the airplane going down, even the one, and this was the one that I liked the least, but it was still very well staged with the other double snipers, because for my mind I was like, there's no way out of that. There's just no way that you guys are getting out of that, and then you're going to get the bodies out and everything of that nature. That was the one that really strained belief for me. But you had a lot of those sequences. What it really did lack was any sort of goal at the end of the day. They took that out of the movie when they decided to make the shift that, okay, he's going after this guy because he wants to complete his revenge. It's like, no, that's not the case. There's this bigger thing going on. And when he does get to the guy, it's just very hollow. It was better, at least for me, earlier in the film, when he goes and he's got that Russian dude and he lights the thing on fire, and then you see him jump in the car with him. That I was like, oh wow, that's extreme. You really want to see, how that's all going to play out. But by the time he has the guy at the end and they're underwater, you know he's going to be okay. So it really, it stripped away a lot of the investment that I would have put into it at a certain point. So there was just I just never felt the character had a very firm goal to achieve at the end of the day. And they gave him some stuff, but because they decided to undercut most of that, it didn't work, for me overall. That and this story I have seen about 5 or 6 times coming up to this story, between between the Jack Ryan stories that you can see, and Jack Reacher, or just watching old reruns of the A-Team. This story, I've seen this one already, and so without that bigger payoff in terms of the overall story, just didn't do it for me.
But that was the big payoff, was the whole thing with this is not what you think. This was all set up by the self-defense secretary, where at the very end, I know it got very convoluted at the very end to like, oh, what is this guy trying to do? But you know,
Yeah, but,
remember the whole thing is that he wanted us to restart the economy. He wanted to restart the Cold War so it could help the economy, I guess, and probably get him elected or whatever. But that was the thing right there, right? So that tells you that, I mean, he's
but
already
that
thinking,
but you weren't surprised by that. You saw that coming like a
yeah.
mile away.
Well, I know.
That's the issue I had with it.
Well, my thing was that, from the very beginning, well, it's one of the things with the Ryan films, at least initially, is that you have the whole issue between the special op guys, like the Rainbow Six guys versus the CIA, because the CIA is basically like, we're going to send our, this is what this, they're analyzing things, this is what you're supposed to do. Well, the special op guys are the guys who actually have to go in there and do the work. And you're like, like the very beginning, you told us this was a Syrian military unit or whatever, and you find out it's all Russians, you know, and, this is not what they were supposed to do. And clearly Ritter, knew more than he was giving on. And so they went in there blind. That's one of the things those guys hate. And so you have that whole thing with them happen. But have we seen this before? Yeah. When it was done in 92, 93, this book, it was something like, wow. So there's a fight, we always knew about it, but there's still tension between this during the Cold War and stuff, for the end of the Cold War. But we've seen it so often in so many movies since then that it doesn't like, what do you expect? You can't trust the CIA guys. You know what I'm trying to say? We've seen that so often. So that's why it kind of like blunts it a little bit. But in terms of the overall story, I mean, like I said, I liked it. It's just that it wasn't what I expected it was going to be. And they had that line by Jodie Turner that we're doing. What is it? I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but basically, we're helping our country even though they didn't really help us, or something like that. Just to say like, we're always loyal. I mean, you have African Americans in the military who consistently, and it's a good chunk of the military, 20-30%, which is more than their population, who go in there because they feel there's opportunities. But you have to be somewhat patriotic to go in the military to do these things and go on missions, and constantly they're questioned as to their loyalty to America, which is, to me, is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I didn't take that so much as a black thing. I really just took that as a disgruntled military thing. I've seen that before in these stories where these guys come out and literally they put everything on the line for their country, and then the country screws them. So I didn't see that. I didn't see that as something. I didn't see that as something singular to his character being black.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's a good point. I guess I've just seen something recently about that where they did something. So probably I'm just bringing it over. But I mean, other than that, I think that whole thing with the fight with the police, where he had to get the uniform and everything and escape. I thought that was a great scene too.
Well, I think before that, I would go back to the sniper, and even though I would reference a movie that was obviously a Hollywood movie, but it had one bit that was so ridiculously real, which was Smoking Aces, where they had Taraji P. Henson being the sniper, and she had the whole floor pinned with this gun, and there was nothing they could do to stop her outside of sending units to the other building. And I kind of lost where we were in the scene, because at some point they take out, there's like two, or either it almost seemed like it was three snipers. And it's like, are they in the same building? Because at some point they take out one and they take out the other. And I'm saying they should be a lot farther away and harder to get to. That's the whole point of being a sniper and having a pin where you could really use this thing where it just blows away everything that's there. And that's why I referenced the Smoking Aces, because you have her, she's like, I don't know how many blocks away on this building where they can't shoot, they can't do anything. She can just mow them down and say, just stay away from the window. There's nothing, we can't throw fire and go like the distance is killing you being able to move around. That's the whole point of having someone pinned. So I think that scene was kind of, let's hope that let's just let the heroes get out, because we don't want them to get caught on Russian soil and
I've been struggling for a while with this whole sniper stuff. I mean, there's been this whole the rise of the sniper, right? In American movies and TVs, especially after the Gulf War, especially after the Iraq War and Afghanistan, where you have these operators, and usually SEALs, we call them operators, and these guys are single-handedly using their sniper ability to take out or hold down force to save everybody else. But it's kind of weird, because prior to that, snipers were basically looked at as like, people that just had to do their whatever. I mean, some places assassins. This is what they're looked at. They weren't looked as the heroes that saved the battle or the war. And now it's so weird that now this is like, oh man, the sniper, the guy, the operator, the one who goes in there and takes care of this stuff. And you're like, huh?
No, I mean the guys who had them, like the
No,
operators.
I get it. I'm just saying, just for me, it's just that I don't want to. It's
We had
always
those two films.
lone wolf.
You had those two films that influenced it. You had that sniper film with Tom Berenger, but that was a while ago. And then you had American Sniper,
Yeah.
which definitely, was not so much as a revision, but it was definitely a different look at how, influential these guys can be in terms of what they're bringing to the whole battlefield. So
But it
that
takes
might,
place from the unit. I'm trying to say, where it's a unit. Like here, you see the guys in the special operations, and they're working as a unit trying to get things done. Whereas the sniper always goes down to the sole guy who's going to hold it out. Like, boom, he's going to do it, and it never really works because they also have spotters, and they're also parts of units. But I just find it just like, I'm sorry. For me, it's just I'm just so tired of the whole sniper.
And then we just go way off track. We just taking it as
Yeah, so back to the review without remorse. So like, always go off.
Thanks, Mars. Thanks for just taking it all away.
Sorry. So just getting back to the whole.
Let's talk.
If you didn't bring in Smoking Aces, I probably wouldn't have brought this in too. So let's just remember that.
What? She got caught out. She got arrested. She got caught down in it, but she can't hold it down for that in that scene. It's just a one thing, and that had so much nuttiness in there. Having these guys pinned where it's like they don't know where it's coming from. They realize the building, but they can't barely even look. They're doing the basic try to shoot, and the next thing you know, blow, blow somebody else away.
Another negative for the movie for me was, bro, they have Lauren London in the movie, and she's in there for less than 5 minutes. Like, come on.
What do you want she did? She came back for a couple dream sequences.
I know, I saw that, but I'm like, come on, man.
That's why.
Come on, give me a break. At least let her live, like, show before they got, I don't know, man. I just like, man, come on.
You're in something else. After this, they'll be like, "Yo, the girl who did that, she's good. We like her. Hopefully, they know how they do." I mean, she should be working regularly. Ultimately, she turned into all right. She's had some buzz. The next she's in the, it's more the Bow Wow movies than the movie about her. So.
Yeah, I know.
Or who's that guy? Or T.I.
So I mean, overall, did you like the movie, Petey?
I was okay with it. As long as it wasn't just a normal revenge, because I think that's my issue with a lot of movies. It just turns into just your basic revenge story. And even though this had your basic thing where he takes the Secretary of Defense down and takes him out for the crimes that were, and that's basically in what most Hollywood thing, they did take a ways to get there, saying that this guy in his extreme actions, got, the fact that he did do it separately gave his team some space from away from the bomb. So maybe they could have been in worse shape. But the guy was also kind of playing to telling him what the story was. So he probably would have still told them without just setting the bomb off. So it's I did enjoy it, just as long as it's just not a straightforward revenge story, which kind of runs out of it, which is different from John Wick, which is a straightforward revenge, but they create so many other different characters and stuff to look at. So it's like, yes, this is a straightforward revenge story, but he goes to all these different locales and different things, and a lot of cool stuff is happening to it. So I always allow that, but then the rest of them can be like, hey, someone, they kick my cat, I have to kill half of, it's like a Seagal film, that sort of thing. That he beats up he beat up his friend, what's his name, beats up Jamaica, that sort of thing. So that's what I watched. So I was okay with it.
What about you, Cal? What did your take on it? Did you like it?
It was okay.
Okay. All right. So what about, someone asked you a question. What do you think, Cal, about the fact that, they left a lot of breadcrumbs there, or pretty obvious. I don't know if breadcrumbs is the word. That this is going to be a series, like either John Kelly movie, and also the whole Rainbow 16.
I can't see this being a series, but who knows?
The Rainbow Six has been a very popular video game.
This was so much of this was so, you saw everything coming. So I don't know what I don't really have a lot of interest in seeing any more of this. Maybe other people, their mileage is going to vary at the end of the day. But the whole idea with, of course, that he's going to end up being some ghost, that he doesn't really exist, that, he's going to accomplish these particular things. But uh, there was no investment on my part with any of these things. It was literally almost, I could have just sleptwalked through the whole thing, woken up and said, oh yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. So myself, I don't have a desire to see more of this.
You don't?
No, I mean, if it comes out, it comes out. But this wasn't something where I left. Like, yeah, I would definitely like to see. I would definitely like to see another movie. I mean, I felt the same about Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher movie. I was surprised there was a sequel to that movie at the end of the day, and I enjoyed that one more than I enjoyed this one. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, that's pretty much the end of it. With this one, I really have no interest in seeing anything else based on what you observed right here. So you could put up something and it could be, a lot better. But as of right now, based on what you've offered, I don't really have an interest in seeing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, whoa. What about you, P? Are you interested in this in a sequel? Either the Rainbow Six sequel or just a John Clark sequel?
Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't have any big issues with it. So yeah, let's see what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Um,
definitely interested. I mean, I want to see it.
was
I'm
sorry, here you go.
go. Sorry.
I was only gonna say that was the what was that what's that series? Was that on Amazon Prime? The other character that's in
The Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan. Did Amazon Prime do those other ones?
Yes.
Well, I was kind of more into this than that series. So let's see where this takes us.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely a world they can go. Originally, this was supposed to be a movie that was going to be produced by Paramount, and I think Amazon has the TV rights for the series, but because they had the whole thing with the pandemic, it wasn't released. I guess Amazon picked it up or whatever. So I think to me, it's like I said, it's a good thing to go through. I think that there's a built-in audience. There's a lot of people from the video games to the Rainbow Six stuff and the books. The Jack Ryan as well, some of the Rainbow Six and the John Clancy, John Kelly, sorry, names. So I think it's something. If they can, we've talked about this many times. It's trying to keep something close to the source material. There's a lot of stuff out there. Just probably update it if needed, but I just hope that that's what they can do, and I think it could be turning out very positive for Michael B. Jordan. This could be a property that he could put under his wings and run with.
What do you care about the source material? Just let Marvel change it however they want to. Like, come on, you act like now it's a book. Now it's a
He
book.
cares about this because he read this stuff back. He read this stuff
Oh,
before doing any of these films, so he has some investment. The Marvel stuff he's just coming into. He's new with this.
can't change
What about reading
can't
since for
can't
quite a
change
long time?
the Tom Clancy stuff, but you can change the X-Men, change all the casting and do all that stuff, huh?
I've said before, and I'll say it again, so you guys don't twist my words. I like the fact that they've updated. It's just that some of the things that I read was just very different. It kind of threw me off initially.
Yeah, you want it to be faithful, right? The things that you
But
kind of talk about.
I did say I liked I liked the movie, and I'm treating it as his own thing. All right, that's what I said. So I'm not
You were ending on, hey, I don't wanting to see what you read, like you always do with your Klingon books and all that other stuff, all your history of Star Trek. You don't want change, and you get also all upset about it. Then say, hey, why are you being so bitter with the X-Men? Or don't make me put you in the waiting room. You better come back, goddamn it. I'll put you there. Mars One world government. Anyway, um,
Hey, you went off like you've said before. You've gone off the deep end, Petey. So overall, guys, we like this movie. We think the majority view is we like this movie. We think it's a good movie. Go out there and watch it. It's definitely a interesting property for Michael B. Jordan. We hope the series continues either through him or through the Rainbow Six series. All right.
right.
So if you like what you guys saw, please subscribe, comment, give us a thumbs up. Spin a rack.
Out.
Why you bringing up all that stuff for, PD? Outside the box. What you do?